Welcome to the Vitamin Chica channel, your go-to channel for everything health and wellness. My name's Lynette and I'm your food scientist, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that's really big in the health world, which is gluten sensitivity and how to follow a gluten-free diet. First, I want to explain what gluten actually is. So gluten is a protein found in grains like wheat, rye, barley, and it gives bread its chewy texture, it helps dough to rise, so it's very necessary for breads and pastas and things like that, but it does cause a lot of discomfort for people that are sensitive to gluten. About 30% of the US population tries to avoid gluten foods, and that's because they think a gluten-free diet might be healthier, or they feel like they may have a gluten sensitivity. But in actuality, only 4% of the US population has a medical reason for avoiding gluten foods. So if you're trying to figure out if you have a gluten sensitivity, the best way to do it is with an elimination diet. That's when you remove gluten from your diet for 2 to 3 weeks. If you can do it for a month or two, it's even better. And then you start eating gluten foods again, and you watch for these 10 signs if you have a gluten sensitivity. The first sign you have to look out for are digestive issues. Are you bloated? You have gas? Are you having diarrhea, constipation? Are all signs you might be gluten intolerant. The second sign are skin issues. Do you have psoriasis, eczema, chicken skin? These are also signs you might be gluten intolerant. The third sign is autoimmune diseases. If you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease like lupus, multiple sclerosis, and many others, you are more susceptible to be sensitive to gluten. The fourth sign is being fatigued. If you're really fatigued after eating gluten, you might have a gluten sensitivity. The fifth sign is neurological. If you're feeling off balance and really dizzy after you eat gluten meals, you might have a gluten sensitivity. The fifth sign is neurological. So if you're feeling off balance or you're feeling really dizzy after you eat a gluten meal, you might have a gluten sensitivity. If you feel your hormones are out of whack after you introduce gluten back into your diet, meaning your PCOS is out of control, your PMS symptoms are stronger, then you might have a gluten sensitivity. The seventh sign to look out for is having headaches or migraines after you eat gluten foods. The eighth sign is being diagnosed with chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. That means you're more predisposed to have a gluten sensitivity. The last thing to look out for, number 10, is your mood. If you're seeing that after you eat gluten, you have mood swings, or you're feeling really anxious, depressed, you might have a gluten sensitivity. If you have any of these signs, it's important to talk to your doctor before making any drastic changes, because your doctor can rule out if it's celiac disease or wheat allergies or anything more serious. Now, if you do have to follow a gluten-free diet, don't worry, there are plenty of delicious options. You really just have to have a diet rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and just swap out those pastas and rices for things like quinoa and brown rice that are naturally gluten-free. And there's of course a lot of gluten-free options on the market, from bread, pasta, and gluten-free cookies and things like that. But read those labels, because just because it's gluten-free does not mean it's healthy, because they can be high in processed foods, high in sugar, and low in nutrients. Here are my top 4 tips if you want to follow a gluten-free diet. One is read the label. You have to read the label to make sure it actually is gluten-free. Number 2 is remember to eat more fiber from other foods, because a lot of the gluten-free foods are low in fiber. Number 3 is eat a lot of whole foods that are naturally gluten-free, like fruits and vegetables and quinoa and brown rice. And number 4, get creative in the kitchen. Just because you're gluten-free doesn't mean you have to lack in flavor and yumminess. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video cleared up some questions about gluten sensitivity and if a gluten-free diet is good for you. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and share. For now, stay healthy, stay empowered, and see you next time on the Vitamin Chica YouTube channel.